All right, over the next few minutes, I'm going to lay out a super clear roadmap for you. We're talking about the most important AI skills you're going to need by 2026. We'll start with the absolute essentials and work our way up to what's just around the corner. So let's jump right in. But first, I want you to think about something. What's the one AI trend that is quietly but completely transforming the entire world that basically nobody is talking about? We're going to get to that answer, I promise. But to really get why it's such a big deal, we have to start at the beginning. So here's our game plan. First, we'll nail down the one skill that everyone, and I mean everyone, needs to get right. Then, we'll level up to building your own AI agents. After that, we'll finally reveal that massive, surprising trend I just mentioned. Then we'll get into how basically anyone can build a real product with AI, and we'll wrap up by taking a peek at what's coming next. Okay, let's start with skill number 1, the absolute foundation of everything else. By 2026, the single most crucial skill is going to be mastering the art of conversation with AI. Yep, we're talking about prompting. I love this analogy because it just hits the nail on the head. You can have the most powerful AI model in the world, the sharpest sword imaginable. But if you don't know how to swing it, how to ask the right questions, it's useless. Good prompting is what turns this incredibly complex technology into a partner that can actually help. So, how do you actually get good at prompting? Well, the great news is you don't need a PhD in computer science. If you just remember 2 simple frameworks, I guarantee you'll be better at this than 98% of the population. The first one is called the Tiny Crabs framework. So what does that actually mean? Well, it's pretty simple. First, tell the AI the specific task you want it to do. Give it the context it needs to understand the bigger picture. Provide references or examples of what you're looking for. Then you evaluate what it gives you back. And here's the most important part. You iterate. You tweak your prompt based on the results. It's this simple little loop that gets you amazing outputs. But what happens when your first prompt just isn't cutting it? When the AI is just being difficult? That's where our second framework comes in, Raman Saves. Think of this as your advanced toolkit. It's for specifying things like the role you want the AI to play, the audience for the final output, or adding specific constraints to really narrow down the results. We won't break down the whole thing now, but just knowing these techniques exist is a massive advantage. Now, once you know how to talk to AI, you need the right tools. And look, you don't need to go crazy and subscribe to dozens of them. The key is to have a go-to tool for each of these 4 main jobs. A chatbot like Perplexity for research, a learning tool to get smarter faster, an execution tool for actually making stuff, and an all-in-one browser like Comet that ties your whole workflow together. Okay, so we've got the basics of talking to AI down. Now it's time to level up from just using AI to actually commanding it, and that's where AI agents enter the picture. So what the heck is an AI agent? Put simply, it's an AI system that can act on its own to hit a goal you set for it. It's like having a digital employee. You can just tell it, hey, handle all the incoming customer support tickets, or write the code for this feature, and it just goes off and does it, autonomously. But here's the thing, the real magic, and where all the demand is right now, isn't building custom agents. Businesses don't want to rip out their old systems for a generic tool. They need AI that slots into their existing workflow and solves their unique problems. Like an agent that can tell when a customer is about to leave and automatically sends them a personalized discount. Or one that can generate financial reports while following all the crazy privacy rules. That's where the value is, and it's a skill that companies are desperate for. All right, remember that big question I asked at the start? The one trend that's changing everything that nobody's talking about? Well, here it is. The absolutely wild and explosive rise of open source AI. Seriously, this came out of left field and it is completely rewriting the rules of the game. To get why this is such a shock, you have to understand the 2 models. For the longest time, everyone just assumed closed source from the big guys like OpenAI and Google was king because, well, it was just better. But open source has these massive advantages. You have total control, it's way cheaper when you scale up, you're not locked into one company, and you can actually see what's going on inside, which is a total game changer for industries like finance or healthcare. The only thing holding open source back was performance. It just wasn't as good. For a long, long time, it couldn't really compete with the big closed models. And then, everything changed. A model called DeepSeek came out, and suddenly it was performing just as well as the best closed source models out there. That was the tipping point. The whole open source world, which had been dominated by Western companies, just did a complete 180. Now, the absolute best open source models are increasingly coming out of China, and that single shift is sending shockwaves through the entire industry. And look, if you think this is some small niche thing, think again. The huge venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz said recently that a stunning 80% of the AI startups pitching to them are now building on top of Chinese open source models. 80%. That one number tells you everything you need to know about how fast and how big this change is. For a lot of startups, it's become a complete no-brainer. So all of this brings us to our next essential skill, which is being put into hyperdrive by these new tools. It's AI-assisted development, or what some people are calling vibe coding. And it's a big one, because it means pretty much anyone can build a product now. So what is vibe coding? It's exactly what it sounds like. You basically just describe the vibe, the idea of the app you want to build, in plain English, and the AI does the heavy lifting of writing the code. You get to be the architect with the vision, and the AI becomes the builder. I mean, just look at this prompt. A year or two ago, building a manga creator tool would have been a massive project for a whole team of developers. Today, you can start the entire thing with one sentence. This is democratizing product creation on a level we've just never seen. You can literally have an idea in the morning and a working version of it by the afternoon. It's wild. So, we've covered the core skills you absolutely need to be working on today. But before we wrap up, I want to put 2 more emerging trends on your radar for 2026. These aren't totally essential yet, but trust me, they're about to be. First is multimodality. AI is already getting scary good at creating images, video, and sound. The last big problem was character consistency, making a character look the same from frame to frame. We are right on the edge of solving that. And second is AI safety. As these tools get insanely powerful, making sure they're used for good is going from a niche academic topic to a critical mainstream career. And really, this quote says it all, right? This technology is giving us incredible world-changing power. And with that comes a massive responsibility to build it ethically, to create guardrails, and to make sure these systems are actually safe and beneficial for society. This field is only going to get bigger. So there you have it. That's your roadmap to 2026. We went from mastering a simple prompt all the way to leveraging the open source revolution. The bottom line is this: the excuses for not building that thing you've always wanted to build, they're disappearing fast. So the only question left is the one for you. The tools are here. What are you going to build?